Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into Society 5.0 today.
Ooh, exciting.
You sent us some research on it.
Yeah.
It's about how communities can thrive in this new era,
Yeah.
and we're super excited to dig into it with you.
Yeah, it's funny because when most people hear Society 5.0, they think like flying cars and robot butlers,
Yeah, like straight out of a movie.
Right.
But this research, it goes way deeper than that. This is about how do we even design a future
Yeah,
where
yeah.
tech doesn't just exist, but actually empowers us.
Exactly, exactly. It's not just the next software update.
Right.
It's about really using AI and big data
Yeah.
to fix the problems we're facing and just make life better for everybody.
Absolutely. Okay, so can we rewind a little bit just for context?
Yeah, sure.
The paper mentions this timeline of how societies have evolved.
Okay.
And it starts with Society 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
Way back with the hunter-gatherers.
Right.
Just
right.
vibing with nature.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then, well, as societies did their thing, we see agriculture come in.
Yeah.
So that's Society 2.0.
Makes sense.
And then, boom, Industrial Revolution. That's 3.0.
Right.
Each stage building on the one before.
Okay, so that brings us to right now,
Yeah.
Society 4.0, the information age.
That's everywhere.
We are living in it. Our phones,
Yeah.
how we work, how we connect.
Constantly.
And this is where it gets really interesting because Society 5.0,
Okay.
it's not just the next step, right?
Right.
It's more like we took a look at Society 4.0 and we were like, hold on, some of this is a little scary.
Yeah, totally. There were some growing pains, right?
Exactly. So it's like a course correction.
I like that. A course correction.
Because we had all these advancements with Industry 4.0, but then came all these anxieties.
Right. Anxiety.
People worried about robots taking their jobs.
Oh, yeah.
About losing that human connection.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
Society 5.0 is pause.
Mm-hmm.
How do we use all this tech to actually make our lives better?
Right. How do we center ourselves in this?
Exactly. Putting humans at the center of this progress.
100%. And that's where this whole idea of a super smart society comes in.
Okay, I got to be honest, it sounds a little
much.
yeah, like a tad futuristic.
I know. It's a bit sci-fi, right?
Just a smidge.
But trust me on this, it's a very human-centered idea when you actually get down to it.
Okay.
So think about it this way. Instead of being stuck in traffic,
The worst.
your commute's optimized
Oh.
based on live data, cutting down on the traffic jams and helping the planet.
Okay.
Or imagine healthcare,
Right?
where AI helps doctors diagnose things faster
Oh, wow.
and more accurately. That's the kind of future we're talking about.
So it's less about replacing us
yeah,
and more about giving us the tool
the tools and the information.
to make smarter choices.
Exactly. And it's not some far off dream either.
Right.
This is already happening in different parts of the world.
That's true. Yeah. And the paper did say that. Even though the term Society 5.0 started in Japan,
Right.
other places are using different names for the same idea.
Absolutely. You've got Industry 4.0 in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
smart cities popping up everywhere.
It's a whole thing.
It's a global movement,
Yeah.
different flavors in different places.
Right.
But the heart of it, using tech to move us forward, that's universal.
And speaking of moving forward, that takes us to the core of your research, listener community empowerment,
Ah, yes.
which I feel we hear that term everywhere.
All the time.
But what does it even mean? Especially with all this, tech stuff happening around us.
That's the real question, isn't it? It's more than just giving everyone a smartphone and saying, boom, empowered.
right.
Yeah, that's not really going to cut it.
Not in this day and age.
So, what are we really talking about here?
This research, it digs into how we actually empower people
Okay.
to shape their own futures. It's about giving them the tools.
Mm-hmm. And the resources they need to build up their communities.
So less about handouts
Right.
and more about handing over the reins.
Exactly. Letting people take control, make their own decisions.
I like it. So how do we actually make that happen? What are the practical steps?
Well, for starters, it's about investing in people.
Okay, so education.
More than just traditional education. Think coding boot camps,
Oh, interesting.
digital literacy programs, things that give people the skills they need.
To actually thrive in this new world, right?
Exactly. We need to be teaching people how to code, design websites, all that stuff.
Because a smartphone's only as good as the person using it, right?
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about individual skills either.
Okay.
This research really stresses the importance of access to information.
Right, because not everyone has high-speed internet at home.
Exactly. Bridging that digital divide is crucial.
So everyone has the opportunity to benefit from this tech.
100%. But, we can't forget about the big guys. Governments and organizations,
Oh, right.
they have a huge role to play in this whole thing.
How so?
Well, they need to be creating policies that support digital inclusion.
Okay, so like making sure everyone has affordable internet access.
Exactly. And encouraging collaboration between, different sectors.
Right, because it's not just about tech companies doing their own thing.
Exactly. It's about everyone working together to make sure Society 5.0 benefits everyone.
That makes sense. But, it's not all sunshine and roses, right?
Oh, you're picking up what I'm putting down.
There are like some potential downsides to all this too, aren't there?
Absolutely. The research is very upfront about the challenges.
So, no sugarcoating here. Hit us with the hard truths. What are we up against?
Well, one major concern is the potential for digital economic control.
What do you mean by that?
Think about it. So much of our lives already revolves around digital platforms.
Yeah, I mean, we shop online, we get our news online, even connect with friends and family online.
Right. Now imagine those platforms controlled by a handful of powerful corporations.
Ooh, that's a little scary.
Right. That's a lot of power in very few hands.
It's like the digital equivalent of like a small town with only one store. Not a lot of choice, is there?
Exactly. And that raises concerns about manipulation.
Oh, like them controlling what information we see.
Exactly. Data privacy, censorship, all of that becomes a real concern.
So how do we prevent that?
It's a big question, right? But the research talks about the need for regulations
Okay.
and policies that promote competition and prevent monopolies in the digital space.
So making sure no one company gets too big for their britches.
Exactly. It's crucial for making sure Society 5.0 works for everyone, not just a select few.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So digital control's a big one. Then there's the jobs thing.
Right, and that's the second challenge the research really digs into. Inequality because of jobs disappearing.
And it's not like factory jobs anymore, right? It's like
Everything, yeah.
accountants, lawyers, even like artists and writers. Everyone's a little
Oh, yeah. AI is coming for everybody's jobs. At least that's what they say, right?
totally. So how do we prepare for that?
Big questions.
Yeah.
How do we get people ready for the jobs that don't even exist yet?
Right. And then what about the people who their jobs do disappear?
Exactly.
How do we make sure they're not left behind?
It's about making sure everyone benefits from these changes, not just, a select few.
100%. Okay, so we've got digital control, job displacement. What's number 3?
All right, so the third challenge is all about competition, or rather the lack of it.
Okay, how so?
So imagine one company, one platform gets way too big.
Like they're the only game in town.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So no more mom and pop shops, just like the Walmart of the internet.
Sadly, that's kind of what we're talking about. It's happened before in other industries, and it could easily happen here.
And what does that mean for regular people?
Well, for starters, less choice. If you don't like the way the one big company does things, tough luck. That's it.
And less innovation.
Yeah.
Right, because if they're already on top, why would they bother changing anything?
Exactly. They have no reason to rock the boat. And that's why this research talks about regulations, policies that keep things fair, prevent monopolies, that kind of thing.
It's like that whole power corrupts thing.
Yeah.
You need to keep things in check.
100%. Okay, so we've gone through some pretty heavy stuff. The dark side of Society 5.0.
Yeah, it's a little intense.
There are some real challenges, no doubt, but there's good news too.
Oh, thank goodness. Give us the good news. What are we working towards here?
Right, so remember at the beginning, we talked about using tech to make life better for everyone.
Yeah.
This research digs into how we can actually do that.
Okay, I'm listening.
So think about things like education,
Right.
but personalized learning, tailored to how you learn best.
Oh, that would have been amazing in school. No more being bored in class.
Right. And healthcare, AI, helping doctors make faster, more accurate diagnoses.
So we're talking about curing diseases, that kind of thing.
That's the big dream, right? Using tech to solve our biggest problems.
I like it. Okay, so those are some pretty huge examples, but what about everyday life? What kind of opportunities are we talking about there?
Okay, so the research actually points to 7 key areas where we're seeing massive growth.
Okay, hit me.
First up, software development. Huge demand for people who can build the tools that power this new world.
Coders, designers, all that.
Exactly. And then you've got the world of startups. Society 5.0 is all about new ideas, and startups are all about, well, starting up.
Right. Taking risks, innovating, all that good stuff.
Exactly. And we can't forget about content. You're listening to us right now, which means
That we're part of it.
you got it.
I-
Podcasts, videos, online courses, all of that falls under content creation, and it's only growing bigger.
Makes sense. What else?
Let's see, we've got game development, always a hot field.
Gamers unite.
Digital marketing, super important for reaching people in this digital age.
Definitely.
E-commerce, which is already huge, but it'll only get bigger. And last but not least, internet service providers.
The backbone of it all.
You got it. Without them, none of this other stuff even works. So yeah, tons of opportunities here.
That's a lot to process. But it seems like the message is pretty clear if you're ready for this new world.
There are amazing opportunities out there, and it's not just about like getting a job, it's about creating your own path.
Being your own boss.
Exactly. Society 5.0 isn't about sitting back and letting the future happen to you. It's about getting out there and making it happen.
I love that. So, okay, we've covered a lot today. We talked about the potential of Society 5.0.
The good, the bad, and the potentially ugly.
Right. And it's really up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create.
At the end of the day, the future is in our hands.
And, listener, that includes you.
Yeah, what role are you going to play?
We hope this deep dive has given you like a good starting point. If you really want to go deeper,
Check out that research paper you sent.
we'll link to it in the show notes.
Yeah.
And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next big thing.
The next game-changing idea, the solution to one of our biggest problems, it could be you.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive into Society 5.0.
Until next time.
Keep those brains buzzing.